Donald Trump held a rally in Texas, and as usual, it has everyone talking. It was well attended, a big crowd in Waco, Texas, showing up once again that Donald Trump has a very loyal following. Democrats are outraged, saying he incited violence over the weekend by posting a picture on social media of him holding a baseball bat next to a photo of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Briggs, who is considering charging Trump with crimes related to paying hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels. Democrats say he's calling for violence if he's charged. They insist after what happened on January 6th at the state capitol, he should know better. When speaking about the country's biggest threat, Donald Trump did not say China or Russia. He said our biggest threat are high-level politicians that work with the United States government. He said either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state. Former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, Barb McQuaid, jumped in on Twitter. She said someone's going to take the bait here, so it's incredibly dangerous and irresponsible and reckless. She also said what Trump said and did over the weekend is probably just short of actually breaking the law, but she thought it was wrong. How will it all play politically? Sean, what did you think of this weekend's Donald Trump escapades? Did you see the picture on social media? It was up and then it was down.
Yeah, it's I've never heard, Kevin, I've never heard a platform that is seemingly based at this point in time on retribution and justice. Those are things that he keeps coming back to the last couple of weeks. And it was interesting because, we all know people. Somebody said to me, well, isn't every political thing a little bit of retribution? And to that point, I said, touche. I think there's a little bit of that going on. I think people here in the state of Michigan might argue that. But I've never heard a guy come out and say it. It is a strange thing, to say the very least.
Yeah, I think someone described it as he's just stuck in the past.
Yep.
And I don't think stuck in the past is going to help him move the needle with independence. He's got his base. He's always going to have his base. But there are other Republicans who I think are just going to stay home or not vote for him. And I think there's independents who are going to stay home or vote for the Democrat. They're just turned off by this stuck in the past Donald Trump. Let's bring in Roshini Rajkumar, attorney, political analyst, and host of the Crisis Files podcast. Good morning, Roshini. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Great to be with you both.
For a while there, I sort of somehow in my head thought Donald Trump 2.0 would be different. It looks like that's not going to be the case. This looks like the original Donald Trump playbook. What was your impression of the weekend's events with Donald Trump?
What a crazy weekend it was. And you're right, Kevin. There was a time when he came out with some new platform, what we should be going for as a nation. And you kind of thought, maybe he got his messaging together. Maybe he got a little less crazy since he left office. But this weekend was really just, I don't even have words for it. Let me put it that way. And that says a lot. When you have a baseball bat in a picture, first of all, if you are a former president or a president and you're carrying a baseball bat for any other reason than you're on the field with your favorite baseball team, that's a real issue. That is a huge issue. And you don't juxtapose it next to the picture of someone who is trying to enforce the law. I mean, it's just pretty nuts. And I would hope no matter how loyal anybody is to Donald Trump, and look, this is America. It's a free country. You can vote for whomever you want to. You can align with whomever you want to. But I would hope this would even make some of his most ardent followers be very suspicious as to what he is up to. Because when people are running for president or running really for any office that represents the rest of us, they should be thinking about what's best for us, not what's best for them.
I didn't mean to chuckle in the middle of that conversation, but sometimes, sometimes you hear something that just makes you say, is this real? Are we really having this conversation? And unfortunately, so many of those moments come forward. Did we hear anything about moving forward? Because, as Kevin said, that's what jumped out to me really the last few times that I've heard him speak. It's not, we're going to take the country forward. We're going to move forward. It's always talking about some perceived injustice in the not so distant past.
Yeah, Sean, you're so right. And when we are looking to nominate and down the line vote for someone for the nation's future, we can't be stuck in the past. In fact, platforms are going to go nowhere if all they're going to do is bring up the past. They have to be forward-thinking, forward-leaning. Look, we have places in our nation to take it up with people who have done you wrong. whether it's civil court or other different forms of things that have nothing to do with the public and with running for office. Donald Trump can absolutely take advantage of those venues, of those forums, if he believes that is the case. But he shouldn't be wrangling that into a new presidential election campaign.
We saw Donald Trump go after Alvin Bragg. We saw him go after Michael Cohen this weekend. What do you think? Do you think Donald Trump wants to be charged and go through this process, or do you think he just wants to talk about him being a victim of the investigation and would rather charges not be filed?
I'm sure it's a combination of both, or at least that's my theory, because he does know that these kind of very superlative, just aggrandized statements really do shake up his base toward him. But I think this one might have gone a little over the edge, although we've probably said that in the past about other antics. But at some point, I would hope common sense and rationality win out for the American people. And again, even the most faithful followers need to question, right? This is very, very suspicious behavior. It's radical behavior. It's terrible behavior. And what I would like to see, Kevin and Sean, is that the Republican Party puts forth an option for the American people that is absolutely counter to Trump and is forward-thinking and absolutely is someone that anyone, independent, Republican, even some Democrats, could look at seriously and say, now that's a Republican candidate. I would actually challenge both parties to do that right now because, Kevin, I know you know my opinion about Biden, and I do not think he should run again in 24.
What's interesting to that point is I think a lot of people thought that the Republican Party was ready to turn the page. And if the polls are to be believed, maybe that isn't the case. And I think that has a lot of people feeling scared, quite frankly.
Well, Sean, I am just not a big lover of the polls.
Sure.
And what I'd like to see is the Nikki Haley's of the world, the DeSantis's of the world. I'd like them to just move forward as if Trump weren't a factor. I know that's a little radical to think about, but move forward with the platform that you believe you could get voted into the presidency with. Do that and see what happens. I think a lot of us never thought Trump would become the nominee back in 2016. Well, here we are today. Wasn't that a real big downfall for the country? And again, I am very neutral. I am not a big fan most of the time of Biden, but I think this is a point where we, the American people, can take back our presidency by just saying we will not put up with these shenanigans any longer. And then it also takes the media, the journalistic media, the reporters out there, which I am not one, to stop covering some of the antics. And this is why sometimes he does this. I mean, he's a narcissist. He wants the attention. If we stop that intention, it really takes a lot of air out of his balloon.
Yeah. A lot of people say the Democrats want Donald Trump to win the primary because they don't think he can win the general. And they think a Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley could win the general because they'd go up against Joe Biden just on his record. Do you think that's true? Do you think the Democrats want to prop Donald Trump up just enough to win the primary because they think they can take him out in the general? Or is that a dangerous strategy in case Donald Trump wins?
That is a dangerous strategy. Guess what happened in 2016, right? It is a very dangerous strategy. They need to take everything that Donald Trump does as well as the other Republicans, what they do. They need to take each piece of it seriously. But the first step here, Kevin and Sean, is really the Republican Party. The Republican Party has to step up and show the American people it's got a spine of steel and it can handle its own mess and it can put forth some really good options for the American people as we head into the full-blown election cycle.
All right, Roshini Rajkumar, attorney, political analyst, and host of the Crisis Files. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.